In last week's video, I said I was going to take a break from my regular weekly videos to get the plans done for this one right here. Not only that, to do a build video also. In this video, I just want to recap some of the features of this one and talk a little bit about it. First, I have to say that I thought it was a year ago that I made this. In actual fact, it was 2 years ago, back in July 2012, that I first showed this. And that was shortly after building it. Now, I assumed at the time that I was going to go ahead with the build video, but I ran into a couple of difficulties with the actual build that I want to go over now, and the ways that I'm going to deal with that in the new build. First, I want to go over how the thing works. It uses a regular drill chucked on to this shaft to drive the belt and the disc. Now, it doesn't have to use a drill, it can use a motor also, but for the sake of convenience, a lot of people will want to use it with a drill. The machine uses a 1-inch belt that's 30 inches long. It has a small table for the belt, and that adjusts to any angle up to about 50 degrees. It also has a table for the 5-inch disc, and that adjusts down to about 45 degrees. This knob right here adjusts the tension on the belt. It lifts and lowers the whole section here that the belt is mounted on, the upper wheel. Loosen it like that, and you'll release the tension, tighten it like this, and you'll increase the tension. This knob is used to adjust the tracking by pushing the top wheel mount in and out. There's a flat aluminum plate behind the belt for support. Even though I did a demonstration in the other video, I'll do a quick one right now. Okay, so what was the problem with this one, and what have I done to get past it? Well, the biggest problem is the fact that I used a threaded rod for the shaft in this one, and the way the threaded rod attaches to the platter where the 5-inch disc goes, it would always wobble. It would be almost impossible to mount that because of the way the threaded rod, the nuts go on. The nuts would never be 100% 90 degrees to the shaft of the threaded rod. So to get around that, I'm going to switch to straight shaft, not threaded. This is 3/8 shaft, and I'm going to use 3/8 inch collars instead of nuts. That'll be the only difference, really. Everything else will be virtually identical to this. Now, I've got the camera brought in for a closer look. You can see when I turn this, there's a slight wobble in the disc. The face goes in and out like this. And what that does is causes uneven wear on the face of the disc. One solution that I considered was to eliminate the 5-inch disc. I gave that a lot of thought, and I rejected it because that really cuts the versatility of the machine in half. I really appreciate a disc sander and how quickly it can remove stock, as shown in the demonstration. And I also really appreciate the tight places that a 1-inch belt sander can get for really fine work. So that's as much as I've got to say on this right now. With any luck, next week I'll have the plans done and the project and the build video, and those will all be released either on Saturday or, if I'm running late, on Sunday. Last week I did a couple of very short shop tip videos, and one of them was on the handle for the chuck key. It seems that quite a few people got a little bit confused about it. It's actually just for adjusting the chuck quickly, and then you pull it off and you do the final tightening with the key itself. Conversely, you could leave that on, glued in place, but then it would be kind of bulky and difficult to try to turn that with this thing in the way. Another question that came up in the comments to that video was, did I have any tips for ways to stop losing it? And I made a video of this gadget right here. I'm going to say a year ago, but it's probably more. But what it is it's a depth stop. Just very simple piece of wood here, and it clamps on over the depth stop rod. And what it allows you to do to rapidly go up and down and adjust the depth of the drilling. And I've got a hole in there, especially for the chuck key. And I'm not one for using these kind of things. Usually I'm not, but I've used this religiously. I take that and I put it up there, and that way I never lose it. To close out this one, I've got what I believe to be a couple of, I don't know if they're myths, if you could say they're myths. There is actual risk involved, but I think that it's been overblown in most cases. One of them, and it's a comment that I got in the handle for the chuck key video, was that you've got to be careful not to leave your chuck key in the chuck and then turn on the drill and have it come at you like a bullet. Well, I got to say that I've done that at least a couple times before, and nothing really bad happened. It just like pops right out immediately. All right, to give it a bit more scientific validity, I'm going to do that a couple more times. All right, well, I'm not saying that you should ignore that safety rule. It's probably a good idea to always make sure that your chuck key is out of the chuck before you start the machine, just in case it does get a little bit stuck in there and really slingshots out at you. All right, down here I have what appears to be a normal mound of sawdust, but there's something very special inside it. I'm going to dig it out right now. There's this, and there's this. Okay, so what these are a couple of oil-soaked rags. This is actually a cloth rag right here, and this is a paper towel. And the usual warning is that you should not leave oil-soaked rags around. They might spontaneously combust. Now, this is something that I tried back in the winter time. I left it for nearly a week, and nothing ever happened. I kind of blamed that a little bit on the cold, so I thought I would try it here this time. So immediately after doing last week's video, I went and I soaked these two rags with linseed oil, and I put them in that sawdust there. And I've been checking them every day. They're not even warm, man, let alone bursting into flames. So that's one of those things that, yes, it's probably a good idea to not do it, but it's also kind of blown out of proportion. I think the chances of these rags actually catching on fire are very, very slim. Well, okay, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, tomorrow there won't be any new video. I may actually try to get another shop tips video done for Sunday, but that's up in the air as well. I'll see how much time I have tomorrow. I'm really putting all my time and attention into other things right now, and the main thrust is to get that disc sander, belt sander combo done and ready for next week. And I'm hopeful that I will be able to do it, but I really can't guarantee it at this time. It's looking good, but then you never know. All right, well, as usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Don't talk about dislikes. Do not talk about dislikes. Do not.